Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be doing a Fluffal Frightfur deck profile. Now this is a really fun deck to play if you like fusions and OTKs and swarms of stuffed animals. Now this deck has been totally revamped with the new additions of the Frightfur Patchwork card finally being released out of Soul Fusion, and being a TCG import card from the OCG land. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this, guys. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell down there so you can become a part of the notification squad, and let's get straight on into this. Now, this deck is super fun, and I really quickly want to give a shout out to Savannah, who actually plays this deck quite a lot, and it's a really fun deck to play against. Because it OTKs you when you least expect it. And very quickly and vigorously. So let's get into this, guys. Cannot tell you how many times Savannah's OTK'd me with this deck. So we're going to be playing 3 copies of Fluffal Dog. Fluffal Dog is really good in the deck because basically it's like the Elemental Hero Stratus of the deck. When you normal summon it, you can special summon, you can add from your hand to your hand a Edgem Saber or another Fluffal monster from your deck to your hand, which is really good. And it's 17 in your body, so it's pretty big as well. So really good card. Then if we play 2 copies of Fluffal Penguin, some people play 1. I like 2 personally of the Fluffal Penguins. During your main phase, you can special summon 1 Fluffal monster from your hand, except another copy of itself, which can get you link materials as well. And then this effect can only be used once while this is on the field. And if this card is sent to the graveyard as a fusion material for a fusion monster of a Frightfur monster, you can draw 2 cards and discard a card. So it's really good to get you like materials and like draw power as well. So really good card. Then we play 3 copies of Fluffal Bear. Fluffal Bear is you can send this card from your hand to the grave, add a toy vendor, or set a toy vendor directly from your deck to your spell and trap card zone. Or if this card's on the field, you can treat it to add target a polymerization in your grave and add it to your hand. 3 copies of Fluffal Wing. Fluffal Wing is kind of like the other draw engine of the deck along with Toy Vendor. Toy Vendor lets you search and draw, and Wing lets you banish and draw. So it's really a good card. If this card is in your graveyard and you control Toy Vendor, you can banish this card from your grave, target a Fluffal monster in your grave, and banish it. And if you do draw a card, then you can send Toy Vendor to your grave, and then if you do draw an additional card. So you end up searching off of the Toy Vendor, because Toy Vendor's effect lets you, if it's sent to the graveyard, you get to add an Edgem Sabers or a Fluffal monster from your deck to your hand. And then on top of that, you get to draw 2 cards. So it's like a +3 just off of banishing 2 from your grave and sending a Toy Vendor. So it's really easy to plus in this deck, like ridiculously easy. Then I play Fluffal Owl at 1. You can normal summon it and pay 500 life points. When it's normal summoned, you can add a polymerization from your deck to your hand. And then you can pay 500 life points to fusion summon a Frightfur monster from your extra deck using materials from your hand or field. So really good card, but it's a good one-of to search your polymerization. 1 Sheep. If you control a Fluffal monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, then return a Fluffal monster you control to your hand. Special summon an Edgem monster from your hand or graveyard. It's really good as a one-of. I probably wouldn't play it as more than one of now, but it's a good one-of. 1 Cat. Side note, you can normal summon out your Fluffal Dog, and then special summon out this, return your Fluffal Dog, and you get an additional normal like you get to normal summon the next turn and get another search off. 1 Cat, if you use it as a fusion material, you get to target a polymerization in your graveyard and add it back to your hand, so it lets you fusion summon again. So I like Cat as a one-of in the deck. I wouldn't play it as more than 1, but it's a good one-of. And then for the Edgem monsters, I play 3 Chain and 2 Sabers. Chain's effect is when it declares an attack, you can add another Chain from your deck to your hand, and then if it's sent to the graveyard, you can add a Frightfur card from your deck to your hand, which is really good. And then Sabers is kind of like Plague Spreader in a way, that if it's in your graveyard, you can place a card from your hand on top of your deck and then special summon it in defense position, but you can only use this effect once per turn, but it doesn't banish itself, which is really good. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. Really fun deck. I cannot emphasize that enough. And there's so many ways to search polymerization and just keep fusing. So we play 1 copy of Monster Reborn just to kind of bring back what we need to bring back. 2 Call by the Graves because we want to prevent hand traps as much as possible because we want to be able to OTK as quickly as possible. 2 Twin Twisters to pop back row so we can go into our plays really quickly. Just really necessary in the deck. 1 Frightfur Factory. Frightfur Factory is you get to banish a Polymerization or Fusion spell card from your graveyard. And then you get to fusion summon a Frightfur Fusion monster from your extra deck using materials from your hand or side of the field's fusion material. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one of your banished Frightfur Fusions and then add it to your hand, which is pretty good. I play 1 copy of Frightfur Reborn still. I'm kind of on the fence on this card. I kind of want to play it as one of, but I kind of want to drop it as well. You get to target a Frightfur monster in your grave and special summon it. And then during your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the grave, you can banish it and then target one of your banished Fluffal or Frightfur monsters and return it to the grave. Like if you use Frightfur Fusion and banish them, a bunch of them, you can put them back. But by the time I do that, I'm going to OTK my opponent anyways, so there's not a big point to do that, to be honest with you. So that's why I play it as a one of, because it can help me OTK a lot, but it's just a good one of. I would never play it as more than one. So for my Polymerization cards, I play 1 copy of Fusion Substitute and 2 copies of Polymerization. Fusion Substitute always counts as Polymerization, so you can only play a combination of 3 of these in any ways. And it's the main card of the deck. You have to play 3 in the deck, but I like the 2 and the 1. But it always counts as Polymerization. So if you have to search Polymerization, you can actually search Fusion Substitute in its place, which is cool. I play 2 copies of Frightfur Fusion. Frightfur Fusion is basically like Miracle Fusion. You can banish you can fusion summon 1 Frightfur monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials listed on that monster from your graveyard. So like if I want to summon Sabertooth, I can banish like another Frightfur monster and then as many which I would usually do 3 materials to banish a Fluffal and or Imp-Edge monster. But the way that this card comes in really handy is when you combo it with Wolf. Because if you can like set up your graveyard to send a bunch of Fluffals to grave, you can get Wolf with like multiple attacks. And if you can get Wolf with like 5 attacks on it, it's an OTK just by itself. So that's basically the big card that I usually summon off of Frightfur Fusion. Or you can even do it with Tiger and get multiple pops, because for every material you put into it, he gets to destroy a card. Then I play 3 copies of Toy Vendor. Toy Vendor is just really it's kind of like the searcher of the deck. Besides, like you have Penguin and you have Dog to search. But Toy Vendor is once per turn, you can discard a card to draw a card, show it to your opponent, and if it's a Fluffal monster, you can special summon it. Otherwise, discard it. And then if this card is sent to the grave, you get to add a Edge Sabers or a Fluffal monster from your deck to your hand. Really, 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 really good card because it allows you to like get so many plays off with Wing. Wing lets you draw cards, and this lets you search. So you get a +3 just off of sending this to grave off of Wing. So you always want to have this on field to have live with Wing. Then for the new best card in the deck, like totally the best card in the deck, is 3 copies of Fluffal or Frightfur Patchwork. Frightfur Patchwork lets you add an Imp-Edge monster and a Polymerization directly from your deck to your hand. So this card is always live. It's a +1, and it like you instantly are going to get a fusion off with this card. And it is so busted to make this card, to make this deck. Really, really good. And for the last 3 cards that I play in the deck is 3 copies of Foolish Burial Goods. Foolish Burial Goods lets us send our Toy Vendors basically to the graveyard and allows us to just get more pluses and let us get searches. So it thins the deck out and it lets us get search. So it's basically like another Rhoda, essentially, for the deck. It's like 3 more Rhodas. Because you can just send Toy Vendor to grave and get a plus. So, but you can only activate Foolish Burial Goods once per turn, which kind of sucks. That's it for the main deck, guys. We don't play any traps because this deck is such an OTK-based deck. You usually are going to win in turn 2. And this deck thrives in turn 2. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, it's mainly just Frightfur monsters. There's a couple of Link monsters I've kind of thrown in here and there to kind of like give me more options, but you play 2 copies of Sabertooth. Sabertooth is when this card is fusion summoned, you can target a Frightfur monster in your grave and special summon it. And all Frightfur monsters you control gain 400 attack. And if this card was fusion summoned using 3 or more fusion materials, it cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects, which is really, really good. So it comes out at 28. and it can be destroyed by battle or by card effects if you put 3 materials into it, which is just really, really nuts. And I love that about this card. This card is so good. It's essentially the boss monster of the deck. Besides like Wolf and everything. I mean, the entire extra deck is just boss monsters, but this is like the big one that I summon all the time to OTK. Then we play 2 copies of Kraken. Some people play 1, I like 2 in the deck. It just takes an Edge Imp monster and a Fluffal monster, and then once per turn you can target a monster your opponent controls and send it to the grave. This card cannot attack directly the turn you activate and resolve this effect. And then this card can make a second attack during each battle phase, and then once per turn during the end of the battle phase, you can change this card to defense position. So it's like, you can inflict 44 damage with this, and if you have other monsters on the field, you can inflict even more. But what I usually do is I'll summon this, banish something, fusion it away, summon Sabretooth, use Sabretooth's effect to special summon this back out. It comes up to 26, and then I can swing at them with Sabretooth and this. Or you can even use your copy of Tiger to give it even more of a boost. So Tiger's effect is that depending on the amount of materials that you put into this, depends on the amount of cards that you can pop your opponent controls. But you can only control 1 Tiger, and then for each copy, or for each Fluffal monster and Frightfur monster you control, every Frightfur monster gains 300 attack. So like, they get really, really, really big with Tiger, and that's why they only give you the ability to summon 1 Tiger at a time. You can only have 1 on the field at a time. That's why they did that. Then I play 2 copies of Frightfur Sheep. I kind of bumped this down from 3 to 2. If it's destroyed by battle, your opponent, or when it attacks, is basically like Archimedes. Your opponent can activate cards or effects. And then if it's destroyed by an opponent's card and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card from your grave and it gains 800 attack, which is really, really good. And it just comes out at 28 at that point. So it's a good 2 of. I probably wouldn't play as more than that, but 2 is plenty. Wolf is the OTK maker with Frightfur Fusion. This is my late game. If I didn't get you early game, I'm going to get you late game with Wolf, because for every material you put into Wolf, it can attack again and again and again. Like if you put 5 materials into Wolf, it can attack 5 times or 6 times. Like, it's ridiculous how many times it can attack. Like, its effect states that this card can attack a number of times during each battle phase up to the number of fusion materials used to fusion summon this, and it comes out at 2,000. So if you can put literally, what is it? 2, 4, 6, 8. If you can put 4 materials into this, it can OTK your opponent if it can attack you directly. Like, it's going to eat your opponent up. And then I play 1 Daredevil. It's kind of there. I don't really summon it all that often. It does a little bit of burn damage. But like, that's the only thing I do with it. If I've got my opponent down to like 1,000, I can attack my opponent and then burn him for 1,000. And then if this card is destroyed by battle and leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, you can inflict 500 points of damage to your opponent for each Frightfur monster in your grave. So it can burn your opponent to death, but like, it's just there to kind of like supplement for if you don't OTK your opponent. You can make it late game. I usually don't make this very early. It's like the last card I make. It's my fail safe if I can't win. So I play Decode Talker as a Link monster, Nightmare Unicorn, Phoenix, and Cerberus. You guys know the drill. I play this in just about every deck. And then I play 1 copy of the Land monster. It's just basically a generic Link monster that I can summon out on my field. I even thought about putting Traffic Ghost in here. Like, you can play either or, but I find it really easy to get out 2 monsters to link into this. And if I can get this out and like Sabretooth under it, I can summon out an additional fusion monster under this, and I'll end up with like 3 Frightfur monsters and and this. But the attack on this is irrelevant. It just takes 2 monsters to summon it, and that's why I play it. But anyways, guys, that's it for the deck profile. I hope you enjoyed this one. I really enjoyed doing this one for you guys. It's a really fun OTK-based deck. Savannah plays it a lot when we duel, but it's just super, super fun. This deck is like really OTK based, So anyways, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think of this deck profile down in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit that bell down there so you can become a part of the notification squad, and I will see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.